Hi Ben, how you doing?
Hi Ian, hi. Yeah, doing really well, thanks. How about yourself?
Yeah, great, thanks. And thanks for joining us. I wonder if you could take a few seconds to tell us about what's new in the world of Garmin.
Yeah, it's been really busy these sort of last 18 months for us. We've been out there getting new products released. We've done nearly about 20 new releases now of either new products or major updates. We've been working really hard, and we've missed, unfortunately, being able to get out there and present it. So again, appreciate this opportunity to talk to you and talk about it. But some of the really big products that we've done is the new version of the GTN range, so the new GTN XI. We've released a new indicator, the GI275, and we've added a whole new range of GFC autopilots to our portfolio as well.
So, can you take a couple of seconds, just give us a bit of detail on the differences between the GTN and the GTN XI, if you like, and then we'll have a quick chat about the GI275.
Yeah, it's a good one. So the GTN GTN XI is the fourth generation of the GPS nav and com PFD products that we've had in the range now. So it's going to give you GPS and VHF navigation capability. You've got that 8.33 com radio built into the device, and then you have got a intuitive touchscreen an intuitive multifunctional display for you to go in and navigate around and use for PFD capabilities. You've got a much brighter and higher resolution display built into this new XI compared to the previous one. So that's 40% brighter, and you've got a much wider viewing angle. So really good for sort of those helicopter installs. And we've also massively upgraded the processing power of the new GTN XI. So that means that we can work on bringing out new future developments that are software-based that you can upload to that product and give you new functions and new features. So
what you're saying, if I've interpreted this correctly, is as time progresses and you add new software versions to it, the capabilities with the XI and the difference in capabilities between the XI and the GTN will just gradually grow as new stuff's added.
Yeah, you've got it exactly right. So it's designed really as a launch to just simply overlap and be the next continuation of where the GTN has been developed into. It's designed as a direct slide in, so you can just swap that old GTN out for the new XI. And as the years will progress and the developments come, new software will be released, and they will further enhance that new XI to be even more powerful than it is today.
So the GI275, I have to say, that's kind of an indicator that has confused me a little bit in the past. It seems to pack an awful lot into its kind of small form factor, and that's probably where the confusion's come from. What is it? How would you explain it?
Yeah, so it's a good one, and it's an interesting one because we've had indicators in the market for a while now. So the G5 has been one of the most popular products that we've had in the portfolio. There was an interesting stat that I always like to talk about, was that we were selling nearly 300 of those a day globally. It's just incredible, really, really popular product. So very well known. Everyone understands what the G5 is. Now they look at the 275, the GI275, and that's a brand new indicator, and they go, well, is this just what is this? What does it do? Basically, it fits a market that is between G5 and a full EFIS. So if you were to rip your full six pack out and you were to go in with a TXI or the G3X full display, or you were going to go down a single indicator, the GI275 fits that slot really nicely. So it's going to give you a full 3¼ inch round gauge, which is a digital display, touchscreen display, and it fits perfectly into where your circular round gauges would be in your panel. So, for example, those 172s, 152s, and things like that have those formed panels, you'd have to sort of cut those out, and you've got some sort of aesthetic look there. Having these round gauges going in, bolt straight in perfectly, and it just makes a real nice clean panel that you can retain that same sort of fascia to your display. So as an actual indicator, there's a lot of overlapping functions. So you on its face of it, yes, you have got an attitude indicator capability, but it does a lot more function than just an AI or a HSIDG. We've got 3 different versions of it. You kind of think of it as a base, a mid, and then a higher tier version of that product. Each of those versions increase the capability of that product as you sort of range through it. So starting at the base, you've got simple functions like a CDI or an MFD, or you can have it as an engine indication display. So you can flick through those pages and it does those basic things. Add a few little extra sensors to it, and then you've got an attitude source based indicator. So that can either be an AI or a HSI. And with the AI different to the G5, I suppose we've got synthetic vision now built into it. So the popular, the pretty display where you can see the mountain ranges and the high color grading, that's now going to be displayed in that attitude indicator as well. So that looks beautiful, and it's a great product as well. That mid-level product as well is also the attitude source for the Garmin autopilots, so the GFC 500 and the GFC 600 that can now drive those autopilots as the attitude source. And then you have got that top level indicator, the top level GI 275, and that has a third-party autopilot integration in it. So what that means is that if you have got a legacy autopilot that is third-party, you can rip out those old gyro-driven attitude source indicators like the KI256. You can rip that out and you can put in the GI275 as a digital attitude indicator that drives those third-party autopilots as well.
So I have to say, so my initial reaction when I first saw the GI275, which was they've just made a round G5, was a little bit wide of the mark. I kind of got that bit wrong. And you did say they were touchscreens, didn't you?
That's right, yeah. So they're digital display and touchscreen. So they're using the same sort of interface that you'd find in a lot of our new generation of products. You've got both a touchscreen display and you use a dual concentric knob as well. So you can either swipe through the pages or pinch to zoom on the physical display, or if you're in turbulence, you can grab hold of that knob and you can still twist and move through the menus in that way as well.
That's a huge amount of information on a relatively small display. Is that kind of working out for people?
The good thing is that you can actually you can install up to 6 of these products in one aircraft, in one system. So if you want one single display to do a lot of it, you can, but you're going to be flicking through the pages quite a lot. But we're seeing a lot of customers ranging from just a single one as a backup attitude indicator, perhaps, or serving as a primary, come to a full 6-pack as well. So you can have you can go, your options are completely there for you to pick from. You think of it as like a building block kind of system, in that you can go, hey, I'm going to go for one today, and this is my entry level, this is going to work nicely for me, I like it, and you can add more at a later date if you wanted to.
Thanks, Ben. When you were talking about the GI275, you talked about it being a control head for the GFC 500 and an attitude system. Can you just talk a little bit about the components of the GFC 5 and 600 autopilots that you got?
Yeah, so the GFC 500 and the GFC 600 use the same architecture of components. One is slightly more powerful. The GFC 600 is slightly more powerful for aircraft that are flying a little bit faster. The GFC is a little bit lower cost and for those lower performance aircraft. But in terms of their architecture of their systems, they're very similar. So you've got an attitude source, you've got a mode controller, and then you've got the servos. What distinguishes the Garmin autopilots to anything else on the market is the type of technology that we've integrated into our servos. So we use an attitude-based system, which is a lot more precise compared to some of the rate-based systems that might be out there. We also use a brushless servo. So that means that we don't need a slip clutch or a shear pin. And therefore you can't get shorts which cause the servos to run away. So it's a higher safety characteristic of that servo. And then we use a digital system compared to an analog. So again, hitting that precision, you're going to get a lot more precise flying from that autopilot. And it also means that you don't need to calibrate your autopilot as frequently as you might with an analog system. So it's not going to be subjected to interference across the wires, and you're not going to get sort of heat stretching or resistance across your cables and stuff like that as well. So you're going to get a lot more higher quality autopilot with the Garmin servos and the way that we can do that.
Okay, that's fascinating. Thank you very much for that, Ben. And I look forward to talking to you later in the week.
Oh, it's been brilliant. It's really good to talk to you. Thanks for stopping by, Ian. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, please give us a like, leave a comment and subscribe.